Hi, dear guests. I would like to present you some aspects about new educational space in new Ukrainian school. One of the main conceptual principles of reform within the new Ukrainian school is the creation of a modern educational environment that will promote creative development and students' motivation to learn. Not only curricula and teaching aids are changing, but also the organization and design of the educational space. The student's place should be single and comfortable, and the educational space of schools should be divided into thematic zones, places for games and recreation. Due to the fact that the share of project, team, and group activities during classes will increase in the new Ukrainian school, the options for organizing the study space in classrooms are also diversifying. The main document that determined how to arrange the educational space in such school are special guidelines for the organization of educational space of the new Ukrainian school, approved by the order of the Ministry of Education and Science. Educational space of school contains educational, developmental, pedagogical spaces. It is a complex formation consisting of the educational space of each student, each teacher, each parent, etc. Educational space is built around the individual because only it is inherent in the activities through which the learning environment is mastered. Since the new Ukrainian school works on basis of the personality-oriented model of education, takes into account the rights of the child, his abilities, needs, and interests, the educational space must be meet these criteria. In addition to the classic options for organizing the learning space in the classroom, for example, mobile workplaces are used, which are easy to transform for group work. The organization of educational space of classroom requires extensive use of new information technologies, multimedia teaching aids, updating training equipment. All this will be done through the organization of 8 centers. The Center of Educational and Cognitive Activities with appropriate furniture, variable thematic centers where boards, flip charts, stands are placed, game center equipped with board games equipment for mobile games, center for artistic and creative activities with shelves for storing accessories, a wildlife corner, a recreation area with carpet for sitting and playing, chairs, armchairs, children's class library, a teacher's office equipped with a table, chair, computers, cabinets for storing didactic materials, etc. The Ministry of Education and Science recommends that school use general purpose equipment which is manufactured in accordance with current standards in Ukraine and meets certain requirements, such as ergonomics, safety, shape and size, strength, weight, color, aesthetics. Another in-depth support for changes in the organization of primary school education was the agreement between the Ministry of Education and Science and the Legal Foundation. About 17,000 schools received a set of 6 bricks and Lego playbox per class. Lego is not just a toy, it is an extremely effective learning material. These kits can be used for integrate learning, reading, math, exploratory project activities, games, and physical education as a tool in the work of a practical psychologist. For example, in Canada, teachers of elementary school organize educational process in so-called learning centers. A learning center is a specially designed area in the classroom that enables students to practice, collaborate, communicate, create, and enhance their learning. Learning centers are supplied with books, art materials, and other instructional tools. The essential elements of learning centers are flexibility, adaptability, and response to children's needs in a safe, comfortable, and supportive environment. In Canadian schools, we can find such centers as working at the teacher's desk with the teacher, to play a game on computers, to work with an assistant in notebooks, body reading, independent work, or work with words. The main advantage of learning centers is that they transform classes into engaging, active learning experience. There are many ways to organize learning centers, and teachers can make changes to the centers throughout the year. The number of centers may depend on the curriculum goals, the activities prepared by the teacher, the number of students, and the size of the classroom. A lot of teachers use this strategy daily. Some found it helpful to have specific learning center days. Modern educational space is based on a combination of two main principles: flexibility and stability. Flexible organization allows you to quickly change the space depending on the needs of the educational process to implement various forms of work. Stability ensures continuity of the process, consistency of perception and activity, maintains order in space and controllability in work. The most noticeable and important factor in the artistic decision of the class is color. It creates an emotional atmosphere, models the mood, promotes learning activities, or conversely interferes with and demotivates. The work of the teacher also has many opportunities to create a harmonious space. Seasonal or holiday decorations should not be abused. You can decorate the classroom for the holiday, but no holiday lasts for several weeks. Permanent elements of work design, for example, classroom corner, don't have to take up much space and constantly catch the eye of the students. An important condition for creating a harmonious educational environment is the creation of so-called class rules. In a handbook for classroom management that works by Robert Manzano, we can find some important tips for the safe use of materials and equipment in the classroom. They describe main rules for primary grades: be prepared every day. Bring a pencil or a pen to a class, for example, or bring your textbook to class each day. If you forget your materials, remember the borrowing rules and many others. When creating rules, teachers should pay attention to some tips. There should not be many rules, just from 3 to 6. They should be short, from 3 to 7 words. The rules must be specific and clear from the first reading. These should be statements. For example, always tell the truth. Negative phrases should be avoided, such as don't disturb others in class, don't run through corridors, and always use positive vocabulary. The topic class rules is not very interesting for children, so you need to be creative. Draw, cut, write, put together puzzles, glue, guess, watch videos, etc. The following lessons, for example, in Canadian elementary school, are devoted to discussion. What if a student breaks the rule, or analysis of different school situations with teachers read short stories, watch comics, watch videos. When is it possible or impossible to interrupt teachers, students, how to be a good listener, and others. If the rules of the first graders are just 5 or 7, the routine is much more time and they need more attention. Routine is a daily action that has its own algorithm. To prepare for class, to ask for a toilet, hand in notebooks, gather in the yard, go to the gym, and there are no consequences, only reminders and repetitions. Routines are not only discussed, why is it important, but also modeled. The teacher shows himself, the students show, the whole class does. Teachers usually talk a lot, but when it comes to routines or when they give students assignments, the instructions should be as clear, concise, and accurate as possible. For example, clean up, voice off, stack your chairs, eyes forward, line up, etc. The new educational space is a significant component of the modern educational environment. The interior and arrangement of classrooms are formed primarily for the development of students. Learning centers are efficient and effective means of offer engagement, cooperation, student-centered learning, and differentiated instructions. They are teaching strategy that benefits students and teachers by maximizing instructional opportunities and providing varied activities simultaneously. The school environment nourishes the students' learning experience. Everything from the aesthetic of school design to the emotional background is designed to create the conditions in which students will grow as individuals. Thank you for your attention.